Okay, woodworkers, welcome back. So today we're gonna have a bit of a different video, but I've been putting out so much content concerning cutting boards, and it kind of seems like that's all we're doing right now, but it's because I've launched my small business and am starting to sell my products locally, and even some across the continental United States via shipping. So I wanted to talk about that, how I go about selling, and then how I price my products to be competitive in the local market and the larger market. So there's really 3 steps that we need to do this. So the first is to create a brand name and really just create a brand, not so much a name, but a brand. And so you'll notice that my YouTube is 5 o'clock Woodshop, right? That's how I get content out to you guys under that guise, because it is a wood shop and it is something that I do after 5 o'clock. I've been through that before, but it's not necessarily how I wanted to market my product, especially when I get into building furniture, fine furniture, and selling that to customers. I wanted to have a brand that kind of sold that product and what I was going for. So you'll see on the screen right now, I've got this brand logo, Heirloom Hardwoods, that I created. So I came up with the name Heirloom Hardwoods, and that's really the first step to creating a brand. Come up with a name, a business name that sells your product in itself, right? So anybody reading that Heirloom Hardwoods, I hope for them to get 2 things. So the first comes from the second part of the name, Hardwoods. They know that I'm probably a carpenter or a woodworker selling wood products. The second thing I want them to get from it is heirloom, right? So I went for heirloom because I have a couple pieces of furniture that have been passed down kind of generationally, all the way from my grandparents, that have cool stories behind them. You know, I'll just dive into one. For instance, my dining room table that I still use today is made from a wood that came from my great-grandfather's cotton gin when they tore it down. So it's just like a neat thing that I own. It's held up really well over time, having been refinished a few times, but it's held up and it's a cool story to tell people. So that's why I went with heirloom, because it's a piece of furniture, a product that can be passed down. It kind of portrays the quality of the product, if I can say that word correctly. So that's what I'd encourage you to think through, is a name for your business that sells itself. The second thing after creating a name is to kind of come up with a logo. Not only the name, but how is what you do going to be captured by a graphic that's transferable? That's the big one here, transferable. So you'll see I've got kind of this saw shape, this saw blade going around the name itself, Heirloom Hardwoods, and then I've got this double H. So the reason I went with this design, so I don't think I'll always have Heirloom Hardwoods visible in some of the work that I do, right? So a lot of people, you'll see this a lot on YouTube or on a lot of handmade products, they'll stamp a brand onto their products, hidden somewhere usually, but visible if you go looking for it, that shows that this product, this piece of furniture, came from their brand. And so when you do that, usually you're working in like a 1 inch by 1 inch, maybe even smaller space, and so letters like Heirloom Hardwoods may not come out, visible. You might not be able to see them, and so that's why I went with the double H design here, Heirloom Hardwoods. And so I would just, caution you to keep that in mind as you go forward with creating a logo. And then secondly, you want it transferable and scalable so that you can put it different places, like whatever website you're selling on. Maybe you come out with a line of apparel later, X, Y, and Z, who knows. You just want a graphic that's transferable and scalable and that portrays your brand and what you're trying to sell. So that's kind of the first step to selling your product, is coming up with a logo, a brand, a name, all of that. And if you can't do this on your own, so I do all of my own graphics. I've learned over the years, done a lot of YouTube research, things like that. But if you don't know how to do that, there are all kinds of awesome websites out there that you can pay for graphic or brand name packages. They're not cheap, and that's because the content creator there is selling you a product that you can use to sell or make money off of. So it's, how they make profit as well. So step 1, create a brand. All right, so step 2 is to get your product to your desired audience, your target consumer, right? I say right so much, goodness. But there are so many ways to do this. You can sell via Etsy, you can sell via YouTube, you can sell on Amazon, Shopify, Facebook, you name it. There are lots of ways to sell your product, even locally at craft stores or small boutiques in your local area that'll showcase your product and may take a small commission. So I went with Facebook to start my business since it's just a sole proprietorship, not an LLC or anything like that. And I found that Facebook, given my friends list that I already had, was a great way to reach a lot of people and to push things digitally and consistently, right? So I went with a Facebook page. You can see it up here. So that's really what I have for you, is just find some way to target your audience and who that's going to be. And if it's going to be Etsy, Shopify, Facebook, YouTube, all that. What comes with pushing your product is advertising. And that's another reason I went with Facebook. Again, I mentioned it. I've got, a decent friends list on Facebook, and that's no sort of weird humble brag. It's just a place that I knew I could reach a lot of people quickly without having to pay any money for advertising. With Etsy and Shopify, even on Facebook, you can pay for advertising, and that's a great way to go as well. I was just trying to keep costs down, as this is a new small business and the profit margin isn't large yet. So find a way to push your product. Any of those sites work. Highly recommend, but that's step 2. Okay, step 3, and this is really like the meat and potatoes of this video. You want a way to sell your product. So not push your product, not advertise it, but once you get that initial interest and you have people coming to you for orders, to place orders, you want to be able to price them kind of in a standard way. You don't need to. You could price based off of individual jobs, but I found this helps me to kind of control what people are coming to me to order, since I'm working in a limited capacity so far. And when I launched, I didn't want to start with taking huge orders that would eat a lot of my time. I was trying to push one product that I was really good at, and then over time, as I built skill and profit, and I could then take on those larger individual commissioning jobs. So for me, I'm selling cutting boards, again, as you've seen a lot on my YouTube channel so far. And so I want to talk to you guys about how I price those cutting boards, how I market them, and really that's it. So the first thing you want to do is do some market research, right? If you're selling locally, then look on Facebook Marketplace. That's a great way to get some market research done. Go to local craft shows, see what cutting boards or whatever you're selling is selling for in your area. So I've done my market research. I think that I'm just below the average market price for cutting boards, and that's okay. I'm a small shop. I'm really just not even paying myself, I would say. I'm just trying to make the shop money so I can afford to take a smaller profit when selling. So after I've done my market research, I want to build an ordering form, right, that I can push to my clients so that it makes ordering for them easy, and then allows me, again, to kind of control the product that I'm sending out. So I created this ordering form, very simple. It's a Word document. I've got my scalable logo. Like I said, you want it to be crisp always. You don't want it to be blurry, and you do that by using vector images. I've got my points of contact here, either my email or how to find me on Facebook, and then I've got the base ordering form. So we'll start at the top section here. Under cutting board ordering form, I offer 3 types of boards. So I've broken it up that way. The standard board is a face grain board, and it's typically 18 inches by 12 inches by 3/4 inches, right? With horizontal stripes on rounded edges, no handholds on the underside of the board because it's so thin, and it will be finished with that food-safe mixture of FDA-approved mineral oil and natural beeswax that I always use. So if that's what they want to order, they indicate here by placing an X or a check mark, whatever they want to do, and that allows me at least to know what type of board I'm building. I offer 2 other kinds, the standard butcher block edge grain board. That one goes for $85, and it's all the same except for being 3/4 inches. Now we're at 1 3/4 inch thick. So that's where I get the butcher block from, right? I use those edge grain pieces. So have some differentiation there if you're going to price your boards as such. And then finally, my third type is the diagonal butcher block board that you've all seen for $125. And again, I've priced all of these based off of what I think I need to make profit-wise to be worth the effort. I don't necessarily charge an hourly rate when making these boards because some of them can be quick, some of them can be less quick, depending on what I run into through the process. So I base it off of how much manual labor is involved since I use power tools so much in the shop. And with the diagonal boards, there's 2 glue ups and there's multiple, sizing and dimensioning involved with the board, so I priced that one heavier. Coming to our next section, we have the add-ons, right? So if you just buy a base board, what you're gonna get is something with out any of these add-ons. And so the add-ons I offer are a chamfered edge handhold, and so that's a 45-degree bevel along each side of the board for $15. And I priced that at $15 because I have to hand sand all of the bevels. So again, it just goes into how much manual labor that the add-on adds to the process of making the board. And that's what I feel comfortable, that's what I feel like the hour of sanding will cost me. And then I offer thin strips, and I offer a variety of thin strips. So thin strips are pieces that are not an inch, 3/4 inch. That's my standard strip for each board is 3/4 inch. So anything that's smaller than that, even 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch, I charge $5 for 1 to 2 of those accent pieces. For 2 to 4, I'll ask for $10. And for anything more, I'll charge $15. And that's because I don't have a great way to resaw boards at the moment to bring my boards from 4/4 down to 1/4, 2/4, or 3/4, and so I've got to plane them down to that size. And because I'm planing them down, I'm losing a lot of weight. So even though a board of mine might have 4 1/4 inch strips, I've really used 4 4/4 strips to make it. And so I still want to recoup some of the loss there in my process. And then I offer finally a juice groove, and since that for me takes little to no time, 5 minutes of setup and then maybe 5 minutes of actual cut time, I offer that for free. I think it's something that sets me apart from other sellers, so that's always something to look for, is what sets you apart from other sellers. I think it's a nice accent or add-on to your board, but some people don't like juice grooves, and so I give everyone the option of adding a juice groove or requesting not to have one. Finally, on the very bottom here, I have the wood species selection, and that will get updated constantly. So as I get more stock in the shop or use stock and have it replaced, I'll update this so that my consumers know what's available to order. So right now I offer walnut, maple, cherry, mulberry, and honey locust. I give them again a place and a little message, a gentle reminder to message me on Facebook Messenger or email to order their custom cutting boards. And then I add this little note because I always charge shipping and handling after the board has been sold. So once they choose everything that they'd like, an $85 board, let's say, with 1 to 2 thin strips and a juice groove, we're looking at a $90 board. I always charge shipping and handling, and I let them know that the estimate will be between $17 and $25 depending on where I'm shipping across the continental United States. So that's my ordering form, and then below what I've attached is my cutting board sample showcase, so something you would see at a craft show or in a boutique, something for someone to see my work and make a decision based off of it. So I list pictures of the cutting boards that I've made so far and that I offer, and then I just add a little blurb about what exactly it is so they can see if I wanted this type of board, these are the metrics which I would need to list in my cutting board ordering form so that they get exactly what they're looking for. So I think that's a nice addition that I market as well to my consumers so that they see exactly what they're ordering. Okay, and I just want to add this in there as well. So I use the ordering form to also create an invoice for all of my clients. It gives them assurances about exactly what they've ordered, shows them a receipt, and then allows me to keep records of exactly what I've sold and for how much. So this is what the invoice looks like. I just mark X's on everything that they've ordered. This client had texted me his order, so I went ahead and put it on an order invoice for him. And then the only difference here is at the bottom, I'll list the price, and then I add a little note here that says make payable to, and I list all of my forms of payment. Obviously, I have it blacked out because I don't want to blast that necessarily all over the internet. But this is why having the ordering form pre-made works really well too, to double up as an invoice or receipt for your clients. Okay, and so that's really it, guys. I just wanted to cover for all of you guys a quick rundown on how I started this small business and how I go about selling in local markets as well as within the continental United States and how I do it. I think a lot of people maybe don't have that guidance, but I just wanted to provide it from what I've learned. I've done a lot of research, and it's gone really well for me so far. Since launching in mid-December, I've received quite a few orders for cutting boards and have shipped successful orders. So I think this format is working really well. In the future, I hope to start selling at local craft shows and working with an online platform like Etsy just to reach maybe a different market than I am already currently in, working off of Facebook. So that's all I've got for you today, guys. Thanks for watching. This is a different one by 5 o'clock Woodshop, but something that I think lots of people can benefit from. So if you have any questions, please list them below in the comments section. I'm always good about getting back to you guys and helping other woodworkers start their small businesses and start selling the products that they put so much time and effort into, like we all do. Thanks again for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share for more in the future.